Good morning, good afternoon, or good night, and welcome to Command Power, the show in which we discuss all things Magic the Gathering with a focus on Commander. And today we have another episode in our Spoiler Spotlight series in which I talk about, well, spoilers and tell you what my thoughts are on them. But before that, just a quick reminder to please click subscribe if you enjoy these videos. We're getting close to 1,000 subscribers and it means the world to me. Much appreciated. And today we're going to be talking about Wrenn and Realmbreaker from March of the Machine. For 1 colorless and 2 green, it's a legendary planeswalker Wrenn with 4 starting loyalty, and lands you control have tap, add 1 mana of any color. Its +1 is up to 1 target land you control becomes a 3/1 elemental creature with vigilance, hexproof, and haste until your next turn. It's still a land. Its -2 is mill 3 cards. You may put a permanent card from among the mill cards into your hand. And its -7 is you get an emblem with you may play lands and cast permanent spells from your graveyard. So this card is absolutely insane. I usually try to give some nuanced perspective on spoilers, but for this one I honestly couldn't believe how jam-packed full of value this card is. This is going to be very close to an auto-include in every 5-color EDH deck, just because of that passive alone. That is a great mana fixing ability, and honestly, even if you're just running it in a 3-color deck, this is probably going to provide you with a nice little bit of value. It's much better than something like Chromatic Lantern because the passive is only a small part of the card and it still has 3 other abilities to gain you value, whereas Chromatic Lantern is basically just a mana rock that's going to give you a little bit of fixing. So onto its abilities. The +1 ability seems a little bit weak on the surface, but when you examine it a little bit more carefully, you see that it's actually super strong. So it's turning a land into a creature, which is usually a little bit risky because it provides your opponents the opportunity to Stone Radiant you by casting a removal spell on your land, but seeing as it immediately gets hexproof upon turning into a creature, that doesn't really apply in this case. It's also worth noting that this effect lasts until your next turn, so unlike some other planeswalkers such as Koth of the Hammer, in which you're basically forced to attack with the creature because you're not going to be able to use it as a blocker, this one can block during your opponent's turn. But not only that, because it has vigilance, you can actually attack with it and keep it up on defense as well, which is super strong. That combined with the hexproof means that this is one of the best protection abilities we've ever seen on a planeswalker. The +1 ability does not untap the land, of course, so that is a difference with some of those other planeswalkers that have done this in the past. But that just means that you need to have a board beforehand, which is not that difficult in green, or wait till turn 4 to play this and protect it. With other planeswalkers that make tokens to block, it's as easy as removing the token and then swinging in to kill the planeswalker, but that is not the case with a land that is also hexproof. So I think that first ability is actually very good protection, and then the -2 ability is some nice card advantage as well. Obviously, it's going to be at its best in any deck that is working with the graveyard, but spoiler alert, most EDH decks are doing that, and particularly green decks love to mess around with the graveyard and return things from graveyard to hand or straight to play if it's a green-black deck, for example. This is also just going to give you card advantage. It's very close to drawing a card, but that being said, the -2 ability is not the most impressive thing on the card, seeing as you're going to have to tick it down to do this. But if you are desperate, it is a nice little way to draw some cards when you really need to draw some gas. Finally, we have the -7, and boy is that ultimate impressive. It's very difficult to get to, but not that difficult really, because it's going to start with 5 loyalty effectively. If you have any sort of card that's going to give it extra counters or proliferate, then this is kind of easy to get up to 7. And once you do, you're rewarded with a super juiced up version of Conduit of Worlds, which by the way is already a super good card. This is better because it's going to let you play any permanent from your graveyard every single turn without having to tap it and without having to give up playing stuff from your hand. So obviously it's not a win on the spot kind of ultimate, but it's a great grindy ultimate that's going to make it very difficult for your opponents to win after you get this out, as long as you can keep your life total healthy enough. If the game goes long, you're definitely favored to win once this ultimate is out. So as far as I'm concerned, this is a super pushed planeswalker for 3 mana, and I think it's going to be one of the chase cards from the set. I could be wrong, but for me it seems like it's going to be good in Commander, in Standard, and pretty much every other format of Magic. So yeah, they've really pushed the envelope with this planeswalker. So there you have it. That has been our card spotlight for today. What are your thoughts on this card? Let me know in the comment section below. I read all comments and respond to all of them too. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to click like or subscribe. It really helps the channel. And until next time, take care. Woo!